So Jim Whiting is a past captain, a 200 game player, a life member, and currently a major sponsor of the Shock Footy Club. And the Whiting involvement in the footy club continues today through Jim's son Ed. Welcome, Jim. That's quite a rap sheet for someone who's finished their footy career in their mid-20s.
Indeed, thank you, Pat. Good to be here. But, of course, back in those days, I played a lot of games, but I think we used to play 20 games a year back then. And we were a winning team, and I reckon we always played a couple of finals. And that was the days before self-diagnosis over the internet. and we were a bit tougher back in those days. So we played 24 odd games a year. So I got up to, my numbers really went up over the first 5 or 6 years.
You're a part of the really famous Sacred Heart family, one of 8 brothers. What was it like growing up in that environment?
Yeah, Pat, with 7 brothers, life was really just one big game of football and cricket. We had a lot of fun. It was the days at Sacred Heart. It was very much in between footy and cricket and tennis and whatever. Roast lamb was a prominent part of it as well. It was all good fun.
Footy and cricket games must have been pretty full on.
They were full on. There was a bit of biffo, I must say. But perhaps my biggest memory of those days at Rama Road, where Mum and Dad still live, was Peter was clearly the best player of most of those games. But Michael was known for spitting the dummy.
Yep.
He was the one ball.
Was he the most competitive of the boys? Or?
Look, I think everybody was pretty evenly competitive. I don't think you'd say of the Whitings that anyone was more competitive than the others. The talent varied a bit, but everybody was keen on sport. And back in those days, basically we were told to get out and play sport.
Sacred Heart for probably 8 or 9 years, I guess.
Well, people don't, of course, in those days, we did our year 4 to year 12 at Sacred Heart. So we were the lucky position that we all were there at one time.
Yeah.
Which is unusual both from a family point of view of having that many children that close together. But Jack did the right thing. He had to fail year 12 to enable that to happen. So we were all there at one time, and at that time my memories of that are sport, and of course the other thing about that was that we all used to go home for lunch. That seems a bit odd now, but you used to, we'd jump on our bikes. The bikes would be parked out there by the netball courts. We'd jump on the bikes and we'd rip home. And the memory of that was there was always a boarder or two. They were always hungry.
Jump on
The board would be on the handlebars, and Mum would feed 10 or 15 every lunch.
Was there anyone at the college during those years that had a major influence, or a group of people that had a major influence?
Look, the teachers, and once again, what was different today, a lot of the teachers were Maris brothers, as you would know. Probably 80% of the staff were Maris brothers, and we were lucky enough in that era that the Maris brothers were fantastic guys. We thought they were old people. They were probably mid-40s fellas, they were middle-aged teachers, and those people were fantastic. Our era was, Brother Colin Barnes, Walter Murray's, who still lives down at the college, Brother Dennis, Brother Des. They were sporty. They were men. They'd given their life for the Maris journey, if you like. And they're the people, I remember most of them. Brian Quist, funny enough, taught me in year 6. Brian only retired this year. Brian and a fellow called Bruce Ray were the year 6 teachers. And there's a lot of other teachers, but I suppose if you're at Sacred Heart in our era, the Maris brothers were the dominant figure.
So you left the college and joined the footy club in 1975, I think it was. So Roger Orchard is your coach. Terry Bruin is the captain of the footy club at that time. What's some of your memories of those early years at the footy club?
Well, I reckon Roger Orchard, I joined the year after they won the premiership. I think it was 74. Okay, so it was 75. So I remember Roger Orchard just being a grumpy bum. Roger Orchard was always grumpy. Terry Bruin, Terry was the Bruce Gould of the Shock Footy Club, flankers, moving sort of guy. So Terry was a legend. Roger was great. I think he only coached for that 1 year.
Right.
He
Yeah.
finished
Yeah. I
off
think
fifth.
he did. Yeah.
But the other, my first experience perhaps was the pre-season camp, which was down the Marist Boulevard,
Yeah.
down at Port Elliot, which was famous for a couple of reasons. I think that's the one where Paul Fay's mother rang up to see if it was going to be supervised, which it wasn't. And I happened to be bunking with Phil Johns and Jerry Manhall.
Oh.
So that was a rough initiation into the shockwaves. I can't remember much else, but look, that was fun. I mean, Jerry Manhall was a fantastic character.
Yeah.
Probably what I remember a little bit more is the social side.
Yeah.
For instance, you know, Sir Keneally, Sir Mick were very prominent. A lot of the social functions, they were right in the middle of it. Paddy, you were right in the middle of it.
You came through with some big personalities though, Super and Mono and a few
Mono.
of those guys as well though, didn't you?
Yeah, they did. And I think, yeah, all those fellas, you know, Paul Slattery was there.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a look back on the photos, and it wasn't a particularly old team, and you know, that probably is one of the other points, is that, you know, you think when you're 19, you think you're going to play footy forever, but the reality is, by the time you're mid-20s, most people have finished playing footy. And as I say, I think people don't quite realise that, which is probably why not that many people get to 200.
Mm.
But yeah, we had a lot of people, Chris Monahan and some of the older guys, Jeff Prideaux and Jeff Ferrer, but there were a lot of guys. Within a couple of years, we were old people in the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Simon and myself, and I suppose, you know, as you go on, you get to be captain. Well, it's usually because you're a more
So
senior
you
person.
were, in 1980, the club did make you captain. You were still being pretty young then, probably early 20s, I guess. So that must have been a
Yeah, it was an honour, still is. And yeah, Mark Keneally, I think for work reasons, Mark couldn't continue. So
Okay.
on the board there, you'll see Mark for half the year and myself as half the year. Then I did it the next year. Simon Lachlan did it. Then I did it the year after. But look, it was an honour, and I suppose I was 22, I think. But you know, the reality is at 22, you are one of the senior people in the team.
So you were captain for a few years, I think, like you said, from off and on, from 80 to 83. There was some success there, I think, in that time, wasn't there? I think you played in at least a grand final, if I remember.
Yeah, we played in, I think it was 3
Okay.
grand finals, and I'm pretty sure we lost 2 to Kilburn, and 1 to St Peter's.
So Butch Lowry,
Mark Hensel,
yeah.
Johnny Parks
Mm-hmm.
era. We were lucky with the Kilburn grand final, and the best player was Greg Juniper.
Yep.
And Greg ran into the fence at Main Oval the Thursday night before the grand final. And then our second best player, who was Chris Wright, pulled a hammy in the first couple of minutes of the game. So we had our 2 best players out, and we lost by a bit. The St Peter's game was probably one we should have won. We'd come through the second semi. In fact, both those games we'd won the second semi. It was only a final 4. We'd won the second semi very convincingly. And we got to the grand finals at Albert Oval against St Peter's that's in 83. And we were 2 goals, 2 up with 3 or 4 minutes to go. And you know, people lost a bit of focus. Some things happened that shouldn't happen, and that annoys me to the day. So I know we've lost a few, and everybody loses a few, but I think people lost concentration.
Look, I think all 8 of the Whiting clan played for the footy club at one stage or another. I guess you'd have played with most of them, or all of them during that time at the footy club?
We did. It wasn't unusual. A lot of weeks we had 3 or 4 of us in the A's, and a couple in the B's, and you know, so it wasn't unusual to have 6 or 7 of us playing. We did Henry when he came back from the country. He played a bit in the A's, and Dick did a bit of filling in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, look, it was great. I mean, perhaps my memory of that was that, and it strikes you now as a parent that and you might get a bit excited about the game, but never work out why Dad used to get so excited. If you transpose our situation into when you've got 6 kids or 5 kids playing, well, you can probably understand why.
Your dad still gets pretty excited.
He still gets excited and he still goes along, so he hasn't changed, but perhaps our appreciation for what he was going through has changed a bit. But we did actually play one game on the main oval where we all played. It was one of those.
Okay.
It was one of those games where the state teams.
Okay.
We had a lot of spare spots, so the club very kindly offered to sort of clear out some spaces, and we played Adelaide Uni on the main oval, and Dad was coach, and Taggy and Mono and Paul Fay and all these fellows played, so it was a lot of fun. You might have played yourself.
Great, that's terrific.
You didn't play that game?
Oh, look, I can't. Look, I think at the end of 83 or 4, you called an end to your footy career. You're probably still in your mid-20s, I think. Which is, reasonably. You said that a lot of people finish there, but it is pretty young.
Well, 83 was that grand final we lost to Saints. And I think I played in 84 because we went into A1, had a really good first year.
Yeah.
We ended up getting to the second semi, and we lost. We played on against the Greeks. So I played one.
In fact, we had a draw, didn't we? I reckon first, or was that year?
Yeah, we had a draw first.
And
I know we ended up.
Yeah.
Look, we might have actually. We had a, and we ended up playing on. Adelaide Oval, and I broke my nose in the first 30 seconds, which is my excuse for not getting many kicks. So, but it was great to play on Adelaide Oval. Then after that, I'd started badging in '83.
Yeah.
Then look, after that, I just got really busy. I think we had kids shortly thereafter, and I was travelling. In fact, for the last couple of years, I was travelling and playing every second week, which probably wasn't ideal anyway. So look, after that, I think I probably had 180 games by '84. Then I just scrapped around and ended up with one to play 5 or 6 years.
So 1983, then your business career was taking off. You found a badge. Give us a little bit of the backstory there.
Well, I'd started off at uni. I did architecture, and that didn't quite work for me. I took a year off and I was working labouring basically. And then I went back into what's now called construction management and did that for 3 or 4 years. And then went and got a job as a business cadet. I suppose it was like for an Adelaide company that was called Cows, who were a building conglomerate, if you like. They weren't a building company, they were a building supplies company, which was a very good experience. In '83, a group of guys left. That's what badge is. Badge is an acronym for Barry Allen, David Graham, Brian and Jim, but the J just didn't
quite make it.
So rather than spelling it with a J and Graham missing out, we decided it's not as easy to come up with a name as you think it will be. So look, we called it Badge, and that was the start of Badge in '83.
And so for the next 30 years, it's grown to be a really significant player in the construction industry in Australia, and certainly a large player in just the business community in South Australia. What's been the secret sauce, if you like, or the secret of your success to be able to sustain that for such a long time?
Well, in '83, so what actually happened was by about 88, those other guys, for a variety of reasons, got out of the company, and the rest of the Whiting family came in. So since '88, it's just been me and the brothers, largely myself, and the brothers, and that's the way it's been ever since. Perhaps, I get asked this quite often, today we're the largest South Australian-owned commercial building company. We turn over about $350 million, and we employ 210 or so odd people. But look, if I had to say one reason why I think it's worked, is I've always liked the building industry. I still like the building industry, and I enjoy employing people who like the building industry.
Okay.
And I think at the end of the day, if you're not enjoying it, it's not going to work. And over those years, we've had a lot of people, and consultants and people employed by us, and they're not all still working for us. But by and large, they've been people who like the industry. It can be a tough industry, but at the same time, it's a really rewarding industry, and it's good fun if you like seeing things being created.
So you're also involved in a number of community activities and roles. Sacred Heart Foundation, you're chairman of, Aquinas College, the Neurological Society Foundation. What else is there? Hutt Street Centre. That must be terrifically rewarding.
Well, it is good fun, and part of one of our philosophies here is that everybody should be involved with their own communities. You know, it's very much part of the badge culture, if you like, that we get involved with the community. We've got a rule here: we have to support clubs and people, our own people involved with their clubs, but only if they're involved.
Okay.
We're not there to subsidise someone's subs.
Yeah.
If they're involved, we'll get involved.
Okay.
And most of our people are involved with a club or a charity in one way. So we have 3 offices: Adelaide, Brisbane, Perth, 4 actually, one in Maroochydore. They're all very much of the same culture, of getting involved with the community. They've got their own Hutt Streets, they've got their own little charity in Brisbane we support, which is for hearing impaired kids.
Okay. Yeah.
So, you know, that's also fun in itself. The Hutt Street one here is a terrific charity. We cooked breakfast for 3,500 people about a month ago. And our staff love it. They're going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and have 3,500 bacon.
So you're on the barbie, were you? Or?
On the barbie? Well, in fact, I was away, but everyone else was on the barbie.
Now, there was a postscript, you mentioned it, sort of touched on it a minute ago, there was a postscript to your footy career, wasn't there? You finished on 199, you mentioned. What's the story about how you got to the magical 200?
Well, I think it was 6 or 7 years ago, so I think the sponsorship committee figured there was a bit of sponsorship. I think I played 200s, but anyway. So I played at the middle school. Chappie was the umpire, that helped. And Michael and Peter played, so I played my last game. Actually kicked 3 or 4, which is about all I kicked in my career, because Steve Smith would mark him at centre half forward. Everybody would turn around and go back to the centre. He'd mark him 10 metres out, then he handballed to me and I kicked it. So that was fun. And, I played with the boys and got number 200, and that was that.
Terrific. Look, Jim, you've had a terrific journey at both the Shock Footy Club and obviously your business career. I think I speak for everybody when I say that that look, as a community, we're really, really proud of what you've achieved. If there was one piece of advice though that you could give to the young lads that are just starting out at the footy club, either footy or business or life in general, what would that be?
Well, perhaps the best way I can summarise that, Pat, is I'll give you 5 minutes of advice.
Okay, terrific.
And perhaps one of the things I do most of now is I do some mentoring. And we've started this Club 25. Club 25 is all the kids are under 25, and funnily enough, you wouldn't believe this, we have 25 kids under 25, including 3 or 4 Sacred Heart kids, and 3 or 4 Aquinas lads actually.
Great.
So, these are our organisational values, and I think they sort of apply in sport or in your life or in your business. And there's 5 of them. And the first one is teamwork. In a business, building is really a teamwork sort of game. It's not about individuals, it's about teams of people producing buildings. So if you're not operating as a team, you won't be any good as a builder. And the other thing about it is you're not operating as a team, and you won't enjoy it. So the sporting analogy with that is pretty obvious, that it's the teamwork aspect. It's not only teamwork on the field, it's teamwork off the field. It's the Noddies and the Wenzos and the Pavos and all the people who do all the work. So what I'd say is that, work as a team, you'll enjoy it more and you'll be more successful. The The next one is accountability. Building is a really tough game. It can be pretty adversarial, and it only works if everybody's accountable. You know, if we can't rely on the site manager to do his job, a contract administrator to do his job, the construction manager can't do his job, and he can't report to the next guy, and so on. So you need people who are accountable, and then you need people to take responsibility. And you know, once again, from a club point of view, you need people, whether it's on the field or off the field, you need people to be responsible for what they are doing. Mm-hmm. Another one is a client focus. Well, that might be pretty obvious for a business what a client focus is, but it's really what that means. It's about what your client wants. It's not about you, it's about what they want. So put your head into their space and work out what they want to achieve, what outcome they want. Now, what I'd say on that, as it relates to sport, well, it's not about you, it's about the team. And once again, your enjoyment will come out of the teamwork and it'll come out of the client focus. Another one is continuous improvement. It's a bit like what I said earlier about people operating, enjoying people who enjoy the building industry. We want to employ people who want to be good at what they do. You know, everybody wants to be good. Everybody wants to be acknowledged for what they do. Everybody wants acknowledgement from their peers. So we really promote continuous improvement. Everybody should be looking to do the best they can. Doesn't mean everybody has to be at the top. It just means that everybody should strive to be the best they can. And that's a really important thing. We spend a lot of time on training. We spend a lot of time on promoting people to be the best. Often what that means is we develop people to the degree that we just don't have room for them here, but that's fine, because we're more than compensated for it in other ways. That Club 25 I spoke of, what did I say? We got a program for those 25 people under 25, and what will happen is we'll develop some so that they will want to leave us for opportunities. That's fine, we get the benefit. And then there is the most important one, which is integrity. And if at the end of the day, which just means you're acting ethically, at the end of the day, if you don't act like that, well then, A, you won't be successful, and B, it wasn't worth it anyway. And I'd say in sport, and remember when you're playing sport, and I know that all the cricket I played and the football I played, you will meet those people you're playing throughout all your life. You would know that, Pat, and I know I still run into people that I might not have seen since '93, and how you behave on that football field, how you behave on that cricket field, how you behave after, how you behave before, how you behave as a parent, is burnt into people's minds. So integrity is one of those things. If you don't have it, you won't be able to live it. And I think you're all born with it. Make sure you don't muck it up, because once you've lost it, it's impossible to get back. So there are 5 things, and that's what I spend time speaking to people about. That's probably the easiest way to make it.
There's some fantastic lessons there for guys at the footy club that they can put into use in their footy or sporting careers, but also hopefully just in life, business and life in general. So, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. I've really enjoyed it. I hope everybody watching really enjoys it as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Pat. Well done.